I've been driving these desert roads for 20 years, hauling steel beams and dry goods across Arizona, but that night, man, something felt off. The clouds were heavy and low, hiding the moon, and then the storm hit. Rain so thick I could barely see the hood of my truck, lightning cracking across the sky, lighting up the jagged hills of Bleeker's Pass. Out there, with the highway squeezing between the cliffs, you always feel like someone, or something, is watching. That's when I saw her, a girl, maybe 16, standing on the shoulder with her thumb out. She was soaked, shivering so hard I could see it through my windshield. Crazy, right? Out here in the middle of a storm. I slowed, honked my horn, nothing. Pulled the rig onto the gravel. My headlights caught her, jeans pulled high like the 80s, a leather jacket way too big, looked like it had been buried or something. She got in, didn't say a word, pale as paper, lips blue from the cold. I tried to smile, break the tension, but she wouldn't look at me, just whispered, coordinates. I know a string of numbers when I see one. Home, she said, hoarse like she'd been screaming forever. I drove. The storm roared outside, but inside it was quiet, weirdly quiet. I flicked the radio on to fill the silence, but it wasn't music, just static, then a voice. A news anchor from some other time, reading words that made my stomach turn. Sarah Miller, age 16, last seen near Bleeker's Pass, disappeared without a trace. I turned to her. She was staring at the road, water dripping off her hair. "Sarah?" I asked. My own voice sounded strange. And then, gone. Just like that. Seat empty, door never opened, locks didn't click. But the space she'd sat was wet, rainwater. And on the dash, a muddy handprint. Small, feminine, fresh. The coordinates led me a few miles deeper into the pass. The storm had slowed, but the clouds still hung low, bruised. My headlights cut a narrow path through the dark. GPS voice monotone, taking me nowhere. Then I saw it. A farmhouse, or what was left of it, slouched in the desert. Roof caved in, wall hanging open. Rusted mailbox, barely readable. Miller. Looked like a tomb more than a house. I killed the engine. The radio hummed static. I grabbed my flashlight and went in. Rot, dust, broken floorboards under my boots. My flashlight beam cut a shaky path through the gloom, and that's when I saw it. A framed senior portrait, crooked on the wall. The same pale face, the same eyes I'd seen in my truck. Sarah Miller. A cold dread, sharper than the night air, shot through me. The walls seemed to press in. Maybe it was the storm, the lack of sleep, the sheer wrongness of it all. But my mind started playing tricks. The shadows in the corner of my eyes twitched. The wind outside sounded like a whisper, and for a second, I thought I heard a soft creak from the floor above. A sound like something heavy being dragged. It was probably just the old house groaning in the storm, but in that moment, it sounded like something else, something in between. That was enough. I didn't need to see more. Fear kicked in, and my legs finally listened. I backed away, my boots crunching on the debris, and ran. I stumbled out into the lashing rain, scrambled into the truck, my hands shaking so bad I could barely get the key in the ignition. The engine roared to life. I threw it into gear and spun the wheel, my headlights sweeping across the road as I pulled away. I didn't look back. And in the rearview mirror, she was there, standing in the middle of the road behind me, hair plastered to her face, rain soaking through her clothes. Her face was a pale, expressionless mask, but her eyes were wide and black, fixed on me as I fled. I didn't sleep. I drove until the sun rose, burning away the night's terror with harsh, rational light. By noon, parked at a diner 100 miles away, I forced down some eggs and coffee and tried to reason it out. The fear slowly curdled into a grim determination. I've been driving for 20 years. I've seen weirdos, dealt with thieves, navigated whiteout blizzards. I'm not a scaredy cat. I decided I had to go back in the daylight. I had to prove to myself it was just exhaustion, a trick of the storm. After the meal, I pointed my truck back toward Bleeker's Pass. The Miller farmhouse looked even more pathetic in the sun, just a ruin of wood and memory. I walked through the broken doorway, no flashlight needed. Dust motes danced in the sunbeams. The portrait of Sarah was still there, her smile frozen under a layer of grime. I took a brief walk around the property, respecting that it was still someone's land, but mostly looking for anything out of place. Fresh footprints, anything. Nothing. No ghost, no sounds, no fresh mud. Just an empty, decaying house. A solid wave of relief washed over me. It was all in my head. Hallucinations from a tired mind on a stormy night. I got back in my truck, convinced I'd solved the mystery. I started the engine, pulled onto the main road, and headed for home. But 20 minutes later, the rusted mailbox of the Miller farm slid past my window again. My heart hammered. I must have taken a wrong turn. I checked the GPS. It showed me on the main highway, moving forward. I shook my head, made a conscious effort at the next fork to stay on the paved road. The sun began to dip below the hills, casting long shadows. And then I saw it, the same jagged rock formation, the same break in the fence. The farmhouse was ahead, waiting. Panic seized me. I slammed my foot on the gas, but the truck seemed to move through syrup. The landscape outside the window blurred and shifted, the same landmarks repeating like a broken film reel. Every road, every turn led back to that damned house. I was trapped in a loop, a prisoner of the past. Tears of frustration and fear welled in my eyes. That's when I remembered it. The small silver cross my wife had given me for protection on the road years ago. I'd tossed it in the glove compartment and forgotten about it. I wrenched the compartment open, my hand shaking so badly I could barely grasp it. I clutched the cold metal in my fist, squeezing until it hurt, and I prayed. I'm not a religious man, but I prayed like I never had before. I begged for it to stop. Just like that, the fear was gone, and everything felt quiet and still. The oppressive weight lifted. I looked up. The farmhouse was behind me, shrinking in the rearview mirror. The GPS flickered and reset, showing the correct route home. I drove the rest of the way without stopping, without looking back. I never took that route again. I changed my schedules, took the long way around, even turned down good loads that would send me near Bleeker's Pass. For a few days, I almost convinced myself I'd had a nervous breakdown. Then I saw the news on the truck stop TV. The sound was off, but the headline on the screen was clear. Remains of missing teen found, homicide suspected. And there was her school picture, Sarah Miller. The report said a hiker's dog had found her body hidden under a thick brush near the old highway, not far from where I'd picked her up. The cause of death was strangulation. I sat there, my coffee gone cold. She wasn't in the farmhouse. She'd never been there. She'd been left out in the elements all this time. She wasn't asking to go to the house. She was asking to be found, to be laid to rest properly. And I had failed. I had been too scared to even look in the right place. Now, sometimes, when I'm driving on a lonely road at night, my radio will crackle with static. I turn it off immediately and just play music from a cassette tape. But it doesn't matter. I'm a 6'2" truck driver who's handled every rough situation you can imagine on the road. But this pale, cold feeling in the pit of my stomach isn't something you can fight. And I am wondering if she's still out there, waiting for someone to find her. Or if maybe she's wondering why the big truck driver who seemed kind enough to stop was too afraid to really help. Our collection is a tapestry of stories, woven from the experiences of friends and the unique voices of our followers. We share these gems with you on our channels, and if you have a story of your own, we'd love to hear from you. Yours could be the next one we present to the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, please like and subscribe to help our channel grow. It allows us to work even harder to bring you more fascinating tales. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.